How often do you get out and about in the grounds?
There was a time when I was a young man that I used to regularly go for long walks around, but I don't often go in without somebody telling me which way to go.
From here you go out in front of the house, up towards Park Hill, possibly where you came in. Did you come down the hill? You probably came down the hill. But instead of going up the hill, you turn left through the no entry, so you're going up the no entry the wrong way. Go up to the safari office, just say to the person in the safari office, you know, you're going up to see them, and they'll send you up. Either you'll go up the back road round, or you'll go in the same way as the public, and whoever's on, you know, whoever you want to talk to will be there.
I've been here just over a year now in the safari park.
Have you always been into animals and stuff?
Yes, I lived in a game reserve for about 14 years before I moved to England. So you get used to the animals around you.
I have been living here a while, so actually I find that it's quite similar in the way that there are a lot of foreign people and the people are really friendly. So obviously I find this place nice to stay here.
I do like Catherine, the zebra, Katie rather. She looks like she's like the zebra equivalent of like a tennis ball that your dog's had for years, and he's bitten all like the fluff away, and you've just got that like hard black rubber undersurface with a couple of patches of what used to be the outside of the ball. She's so old now, bless her, she's losing her stripes.
I'm very, what's the word? What's the word, Jeff, when women sort of are frightened of me? What do you call it? What's it called? Come on. Oi! Yes, you said to me, English women don't like me because I'm what?
Too much of a threat.
Too much of a threat. I give out sexual appeal.
The hippos don't do anything. 22 hours a day of sleep and 2 hours of eating. That's about it. They are so bone idle.
No. I kind of suck up to the boss, so I ain't got to do any work. I just get to sit out back doing nothing all day.
Oh, my daily routine, right? I get up at about 7 o'clock and I'm usually in work by about 8, and that's quite good because it's quite quiet between 8 and 9. And then I run around for about 12 hours and then come home again.
You'll end up having a laugh all day because of the fact if you didn't, you'd end up crying. But yeah, it's cold, muddy in the winter, but of the summer, obviously, you know, your muscles are big. You feel a bit sure of yourself, like the old sun comes out, everyone's a poser, and yeah, you know, it's have a laugh, and then home, sleep, and that's it. That's it really, it's just, yeah, good.
Do you get lots of problems with the monkeys putting cars to pieces?
It depends on what mood the monkeys are in. I mean, if it's really hot weather, then you're very well if you see any monkeys doing much damage.
Or they whip windscreen wipers off and things like that.
But it depends on what mood the monkeys are in completely to what damage they do. The
Volkswagen was that came to pieces the easiest. And the old Triumph Acclaim, if you had one of those, when it went out, there wasn't a lot left on it afterwards.
I think sort of the great apes are capable of thinking it up to a point, but they can't follow a chain of thought very far. The concept that
male monkeys like red-coloured cars because female bottoms are red when they're in season. They sort of shine a bit more.
Blankety check pen, here we go.
What's the matter?
Sophie's eating a mouse.
We don't really get involved with the food side of things. We don't actually eat here as such. You know, we've obviously got our own home life.
Yeah.
We go home obviously to sleep when we've got to sleep. Specific sort of Hello. All right. Have a cup of tea. That's right. Yeah. Come to the back door. Somebody will meet you there. Okay.
Well, I once set something that had fallen down in the, or been knocked down, I don't know quite how it came to my plate, in the safari park. And that was an antelope of some kind and had a special name, but I can't really remember what it was. And that, I think, we all had a portion of it somewhere around the estate.
You can guarantee someone will come up to the fence, won't they, and go, "What type of animal's that?" and think it's really, really, really funny. They do, though, don't they?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it a monkey? Maybe I just look weird.
Maybe you do.
Right, yeah.
No, it does happen, yes.
It's when they stop whistling and looking that you start worrying, you know. Your face.
We should have started this early, you know. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
Come on, Brian.
Please don't look at me like that.
I'm not looking. How do you cope? I'm so sorry. How do you cope?
Look at you making me laugh.
I'm not. It's you.
No, sorry, I employ artists to do all the...
I'm hoping to get a working permit to stay working in the safari park, but unfortunately I don't know yet, so it's going to take about another 6 months for me to find out.
Oh no, I'll definitely stay here. It's just easy work. Yeah, I'll stay for quite a while, I think. Can't really be bothered to do anything else.
This summer is going to be the last summer I'm going to be here. I've been here a while, and really, I haven't traveled as much as I would like.
Usually got a chuck whizzing bicycle and jump in that.
We went to Bath yesterday. I think it's just an amazing place.
Do you know how old I am? What do you think? I won't be cross, I promise.
I can't speak for Mumba.
Oh, come on. Mouth it. Next.
The way out? No idea.
We were following you.
No, we're trying to find a way in. We know where the way out is.
We don't know the way out.
This isn't the way out though, is it?
Well, the difference between cats and dogs. Cats don't wag their tail like a dog, and yes, they do. Sometimes they do. They don't go. Oh no, they don't do that. And they don't sit and go. And they don't fetch balls as well as dogs.
One's got a waggy tail and a cold nose, and the claws are like totally contracted all the time, whereas the other one contract their claws and it's got sharper teeth and pointed ears.
Which one's which?
The cats are the ones with contracted jaws and sharp teeth and the sharp pointed ears.
Excuse me. I think I'm an oddity. I've got a foot in both camps, really, and I appreciate either animal for very different qualities.
I like dogs better than cats, though.
No, I don't.
They seem to be more friendly somehow. Dogs like greet you, whereas cats just sit, they can sleep for so long. No.
Cats can appear to be lazy, but I don't think they are.
They have big claws. like bears. And they look like bears.
They just sit about all day and get fed and go meow, 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 meow.
I find cats, they claw the carpet a lot. They're a complete nuisance, actually.
Meow, meow, meow.
I think you get more out of a dog in response.
Well, they're more
Like,
interesting, aren't
I
they?
think they're thicker than cats, personally.
Do you?
I do.
Meow, 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 meow. And I go, shut up.
I used to be a chaser myself, but I mean, it's about what?
It's all about competitiveness, you know what I mean? You see these blokes and like I said, they've been let off a lead. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
and
like,
then like,
it's like
it's just more than life, man.
Watching hounds after a hare, you know what I mean? It's just...
I've been bitten by dogs, I've been bitten by cats, I've been bitten by... Oh, you name it, I'll claim it.
Once I was walking past a house and the door suddenly flew open and a dog with a head the size of Albania jumped out, and its teeth were an inch away from my face and its mouth was so big I could have lived inside that mouth quite comfortably, and I was nearly killed.
I've been chased by a Great Dane, a slavering big thing, and it frightened me. I've been bitten by a beagle. I've been chased by an old English sheepdog, which was, I would say that was a springboard into me becoming a Christian.
Mm. You always say dogs come sniffing at your private parts.
Do I?
That's one thing you always say.
Well, they told me they're not, that they're just being affectionate.
Dogs wag their tails to get the smell of their farts away, and the cat just walks around with its tail in the air.
Dogs I like very much because of their great intelligence and loyalty generally, and just so animated and, you know, great chums.
I don't think I've ever had fleas. I think the closest I ever got was scabies, and that was quite bad enough. You would entirely cover your body from head to toe with this alcohol solution. And there was always this sort of nagging doubt that some part of your anatomy would catch light like a fuse, and it would just be an enormous blue puff.
I think the best thing to do is to put on some flea powder, which you get from the vet. But it's probably not a good idea to have a good scratch, because that makes it red and raw and a bit rough and everything.
You know, I've never had any breed that's been a kind of a pampered, you know, pooch. You know.
They breed these mutant dogs, don't they, and give them awards for how mutated they look. And if it's a perfect mutant, it's got a pedigree. But if you crossbreed it with another mutant, it's called a mongrel.
Most pedigree dogs, to get them perfect, they've got things wrong with them. It's either the bull terrier or the bulldog can hardly breathe because they bred into them, that flattened face. It's a bulldog, innit? And a lot of the breeds have suffered when they show a cross.
They look ridiculous with silly bowls. Looks stupid.
I'm certainly a loyal companion, but I have to say I've been let down a lot too in my life. I might be very loyal, but I do, like my father said before me. He said, you trust everybody once. And that's what I do. I trust everybody once, no matter who they are. So I'm loyal to the point of disloyalty.
Cats, on the other hand, they are the clever ones. They give humans nothing.
I'm not a cat person. No, they're not loving enough, and they hiss a bit, and they don't do anything. They just wee all over the garden and leave brown stains all over the grass and just make a nuisance of themselves.
I've defecated outside, of course I have. You know what I mean?
If you step in dog mess, then it's not very hygienic, and it's not very it's just not nice.
You kind of get an antennae. The slightest thing, kind of, boop, 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 boop. You know what's going on over there? Sidestep it. And if you can't sidestep it, make sure you come through it.
Because at the end of the day, cats, when they go to the toilet, they clean up and they cover up after them. And that has got to be a sign of higher intelligence.
That's a dirty, filthy business, and that ought to be stopped totally.
But I think dogs are more, for a start, I think they smell more. Whereas a cat, you can leave a cat to it. Whereas with a dog...
Yeah, but if you've got a burglar coming in your house, at least a dog makes a noise.
Yeah, but you could throw the cat at the burglar.
That's a silly thing to say. Dogs are more interesting, and that's the end of it.
No, it's not the end of it.
We'll just have to agree to disagree then.
And I've got a lovely smile, as my mum says. So, I look good for my age too.
No.
Can't.
No. No, I think I'm... No.
All green and slimy with googly eyes. Googly eyes and little thingies that go up in the air with round bits on the end. Antennae. Yeah. With a spaceship.
I don't believe in aliens, really. I don't believe in strange people and strange creatures and strange anything, because God wouldn't create anything that's not perfect and that's abnormal and strange.
No, I don't believe there's alien life on this planet. I believe there's something, but
don't know
what we don't know. But I believe there's something that we've not been told about that.
What do you mean if aliens existed? Aliens do exist. Everybody knows aliens exist.
I think if aliens existed, I would think they're about that small. Some of them, these are the good ones, that small, and they have quite a big head, and they're very good at sums, and they have small legs and arms.
I've no idea what aliens would look like. They could look like anything. They might just be a ball of gas, or an idea, or a particular coloured light.
The whole conspiracy thing about aliens is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, why on earth would they visit us to fly around in some farmer's back garden in the back end and beyond in Suffolk to just bugger off again? It just doesn't make sense whatsoever. And the whole thing about UFOs in the sky is just beyond me.
Well, what is a UFO?
You know what a UFO is?
What does it stand for?
I can't remember. Something. What is it?
An unidentified flying object. No, I've never seen one of those. I don't even know what one is.
So anything that you don't identify that flies past you is a UFO, isn't it? So basically, if it's a bird that you don't recognise, what's that? You get the book out, you can't identify it. That was a UFO, wasn't it?
No, you're being silly.
I've seen a UFO at a time when UFOs were being sighted in Lancashire. People were saying they had flying saucers going over the rooftops in a suburb of Bolton, One news reporter claimed to have taken a photograph, but whether it was a genuine photo is another thing.
I came beginning of May in 1984 because it's a beautiful planet. You can see it from quite far. It looks very attractive.
It's not as striking, the difference that people expect when they ask, how different is it than home? I mean, you hate to lapse into this whole stereotype about how the English people are who live around me.
We have radionic equipment, which we call spiritual energy radiators, which have been in operation now for over 30 years. Every unselfish action is potentized by spiritual energy radiators.
You have here like shopping centers, which are like community centers nowadays. You have people on Saturday take their children to shopping center, like probably that's one of the elements of care and community program they have now. They develop, strong enough medication so they can keep you quiet and you can just walk around and look at the bright, shiny things.
Yeah.
Makes you happy.
I mean, they make these models of aliens. I mean, how can they make models of aliens when they've never ever seen aliens? You know what I mean? Is that is that a fuss? You know?
Yeah,
but is it?
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
you're allowed to have that imagination, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, how can they mould an alien when they've not seen an alien?
Well, if somebody asked you what's an alien like...
Well, I couldn't tell them because I don't know, because I've never seen one.
If they say, right, what do you think it looks like?
Well, again, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have a go at saying, I think they might look like this, or...
Well, they could be 2 foot tall.
Well, I think a lot of the portrayal of aliens comes from people who say they've seen aliens or they've been beamed up by aliens. Some of these stories people come out with.
Do you think they are stories, or do you think they're true?
There's no doubt in my mind that these people have had an experience.
No, I think that's nonsense, to be honest. I think people have either had too much to drink or they've just got very imaginative imaginations.
I reckon they've been on some sort of wacky type stuff, I reckon, if they're saying they've been abducted by it. So
they glow in the dark, like,
The first few months in this country, I had to learn that you do not kiss everybody to say hello. And I did with the postman. I opened the door, there was the postman, I gave him a kiss on his cheek twice or whatever. And he was absolutely shocked.
I've loved the weather here. And I know that sounds crazy because everyone always complains about the weather here. Oh, it's very temperate. Living in the city, you hardly ever have a freeze. And when you do have snow, it's pretty and it melts when it hits the ground, which is ideal.
Yeah, I reckon there's quite a few of them roaming around the planet at the moment. And
Well, I think just the opposite. To be honest, I don't think at this particular time aliens do not exist. Until someone comes up with the proof that they are existing.
There's a lot of proof that they exist on other planets, isn't there?
You know, it may not be kind of like we might be looking at sort of, looking at things in other dimensions, other planes. It doesn't have to be travelling through long distances, things like the elves and the fairies.
Wacky people. Wacky people. Real strange.
This is home, everything is a bit upside down, but that's the way it is.
But it's becoming level.
I've learned that it's very important to be polite.
Yes.
You have to remember to say certain amount of thank yous and sorries. You have to say sorry to people you shouldn't really say. You walk on the street and there's a person walking in front of you.
Yes.
And suddenly those two people perform a dance saying sorry, and you don't know which way to move.
Yes.
I think that was something which I felt a bit bemused by that.
Yes. Mainly, I just watched Jeremy Paxman.
Now, as to whether they visited us or not, recently I couldn't tell you. They might have. Who's to say they ain't here now?
My theory is we came from another planet. Yeah.
It's just pants. I don't believe in it.
I was wondering what you think about communication.
Communication?
It's a difficult one, that, isn't it?
Sorry?
I say that's a difficult one.
I wasn't listening.
No.
No.
Describe communication.
What is communication? Go on. You don't have to start so much. We do speak the language of it.
You've got the easy bit.
Answer the other question again.
I remember the question.
I mean, the only thing that you can say about me is I speak lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots, and sometimes you can see this in the faces of the people that are around that I don't let them speak now.
You're Australian, not Australian, I know. No, what a Russian or a French, I don't know what he was, I think. He come from a bloody broad, but he said a job of what he's bloody talking about half of the time, but he could speak a little bit of Asian, but not a bloody lot.
I just can't imagine that from an UG we've got, such a, like French, for example. French is very sophisticated, isn't it?
Well, French isn't actually as sophisticated as UG, if you ask me, but there you go. That's my view of the French.
There are people that say that the French, aren't very sophisticated, and there's other people that say they are, but an UG, if the French language came from that, it's a bit surprising, really, isn't it?
It would be UG, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There's a thing in Newcastle where everybody's called man, even a woman. If you're talking to a woman, you're going, all right, man? I mean, if I'm talking to my mother, I'd say, who, man? But, I mean, that's my mother. My mother's not a man. But, so, doing here, I've said it a couple of times, and it just slipped out. I'll say, if it's a woman, or somebody pushes in, they say, who, man, who are you pushing? Say, I'm not a woman, I'm a man. I say, now you're a woman, man.
Urban is the new language. Look at bling. Who's saying bling now? Everybody! Bling!
It's not just about the language, though. There's body language, isn't there? Which is
there is body language, I suppose, which is universal.
And I can tell by looking at you right now that you're looking a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous. And even though I speak the same language as you, I didn't need to know that in order to tell that.
Would you agree that 80% of communication is non-verbal?
Just thinking about that one.
Well, you were looking at me then and communicating. You were frowning a little bit, so you were communicating, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And I read your face to say that...
Yeah, I guess you could say, 80% is non-verbal.
Yes. Well, it's 100%, isn't it, if you're a North Sea diver mending oil rigs?
I'm not biting.
As far as communication goes when we're working sheep, it can either be vocal or whistle. So, to go left, and it goes round to the right, and that turns the sheep to the left. And that's how it works. It's communication between three different animals.
Now that's a cuckoo. That's a cuckoo that You can call a cuckoo in with that. That does that call twice. And then you have to wait, and the cuckoo that will reply back to you. And then you do it again twice, and that will bring the cuckoo all the way as close as you want. That you can call them in, and then of course you shoot them.
You know when a donkey's unhappy. If a donkey's bad-tempered, it will lay its ears right down like that. Bad-tempered. When they're happy, their ears are usually up or slightly forward like that. But if they're laid right down like that and they're swishing their tail like she is now, that's showing aggression. But their ears have got to be down, right flat on their body to show aggression. But normally they're straight up again, like hers, look. They're straight up. Or just flop tape to the side, like that. Now flop them out to the side. You see, they're up. But then they'll flop them out. But they're all up, pricked up, looking happy, like that. But that's the only thing, you've got to watch a donkey when she lays her ears right down like that.
Don't whisper things. It defeats the object.
Do you have like communication issues between you?
No. We just don't talk.
It's all about knowing.
I tend to be quiet, don't I? I don't do much or say much if I'm...
Or you go, if you're angry, Wayne, you go, You always know, and I say to Paul, oh, Wayne's got a grumpy on.
On your nose, look, see? Oh, that was a good one, wasn't it?
I always thought they were being aggressive.
No, that's showing affection. Now that's something you should put your hand in her mouth, look.
I make noises usually in the place of words. What kind?
You make up loads of
Just
baby talk.
yeah, in the middle of things and things like that. But you understand, don't you, Bab?
And you say things like, I banged my knee.
All right.
I wouldn't recommend everybody to do it, but no, you put your hand in your mouth. Yeah, show her your tongue. Let's see your tongue. Come on. Show me your tongue. I want to see your tongue. There he is. Look, I got him. Come on, I want to see your tongue. There you go. There's your tongue.
They don't mind you doing that?
No, I wouldn't recommend him. No, I wouldn't say you do it, but no, they just trust me. You say that's what it is.
When you need communication, I mean, it doesn't matter that you don't speak the language or you don't speak because you are blind or you don't hear. I mean, it's something you need to live. You need to communicate. You need to communicate with someone. Something you need. Always there's something you need or something someone needs and needs to communicate with you. So it's something really, it's really important. The communication is something.
You have to be positive. You have to talk. You must love one another. You must understand. You must communicate. You must read books. Yeah, for real, man. And we out. Peace. Yeah. Shut up, Brian. Okay.
I've been like that. I've been cut like some people cut me like that. And you know, why are you speaking so bloody fast? And didn't saw you talking too loud today. I can't hear what you've been talking about. Then you've got the trouble. You should turn around and you must be bloody deaf then.
No, because it's the animals. They don't talk.
These are because we haven't got much time left.
Come
on, I'm watching you. Half an hour's gone, you haven't done nothing.
I think it's good to work because you get dignity from it, and I've done all kinds. I've worked in a hotel. I worked in this hotel in Teignmouth, and I'd be there at night, and you know, I'd work on the desk, I'd help in the kitchen, but I also clean toilets. And why not? I mean, I like different roles, and it just means I can channel the madness in different areas, you know.
I really look forward to going to work because I really enjoy working with people that have got difficulties and struggles, and I feel like I can make a difference.
I think just on a personal level, yeah, I do prefer provide a valuable service to them, definitely. I mean, it's not necessarily painful, but sometimes it can be a bit uncomfortable, me sort of like pulling at their cheek sometimes to get right to the back of the teeth. So enjoy the end result. I think that's what they'd enjoy.
Teamwork. That's one thing about it I like. I wouldn't like to work on my own.
It's over 100, isn't it?
Well, it used to be more than 200.
We've lost quite a few.
Because we're all getting older now, look.
Early on when you're young, you kind of get too excited and you use up so much energy getting nervous. As you get older, now that I'm older, you just try and stay nice, you try and stay calm. Go away!
Now, when I was very young and first went with the Folks, if there was 4 or 5 hooligans, sort of standing in the way, they would be told to move. And God help them if they didn't move. They'd get a bite on the bum, and probably a smack round the ear hole with a cape, from the policeman.
The thing about being in a lab is you're your own boss. You're free to sort of run several things at once, and it's a very social atmosphere in many labs.
Yes,
and ours was a great place to work. And in some labs you can have music playing, because a lot of what you're doing isn't using your brain at the time.
They use mice, don't they, for things?
What, eyeliner?
It's not nice, really, is it?
What, lipstick on a Yorkshire Terrier?
Oh, no.
I think we should all be in clinical trials. We have a moral obligation. Fortunately, I've never been asked, but I take so many drugs anyhow. I am a clinical trial.
You cannot have an effective working police dog which is non-aggressive. As they get older, all they want to do is be the leader of the pack. It's their instinct. And every now and again, he probably just challenges me for the leadership of the pack. So every now and again we have a little tete-a-tete.
I feel that if I've given my best performance and it's a good one, then obviously I get the reward, the pat on the back, knowing that you've tried to do your best for your coach. They've given you the training, the least you can do.
I do define goals and targets, but then when you get going, it's fun. It's just good fun, really. It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like you're just being really silly.
So sorry. My job is, I'm in the entertainment business, so, I'm a singer, actress, whatever. That means I do a lot of traveling. I have to fly to different countries sometimes.
I'm all right walking on the flat and downhill, but I can't go uphill. As soon as I start to go uphill, I get chest pain. It starts to tighten up. But what I do, where I live, there's a downhill slope down to what they call the co-op. I walk down there and come back on the bus.
It can be stressful, yes, as a runner, because you strive to...
When we work in a factory, we are looked after, aren't we? We have the dentist, the chiropodist, chest x-rays, get all our injections done and everything, without even going out of the factory, which is good.
The ideal weather for me is dry, about 65 to 68, I'm perfect. Anything over that or under that, I'm struggling, especially in cold mornings. I shouldn't really go out in cold mornings, I've been told. I shouldn't go out in cold mornings, I shouldn't go out in the wind, and also, I should, just do what I can do. And I'll say some days I can move mountains, the next day I can't do anything.
You start Monday, Tuesday, you do mornings. Wednesday, Thursday, you do afternoons. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you do nights. But I've done this, you don't know if you're coming or going. Every 2 days you've got to change your sleep pattern, it's awful.
It is very repetitive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very repetitive.
The foreman's always watching you. But we couldn't wander about. We can't wander about. But if we make a mistake, then we will be severely reprimanded.
You know, you hear about chefs being crazy. He was crazy. You know, he would throw knives around. You know, thankfully I didn't have a lot of dealings with him because I was, you know, dealing on other sort of areas in the hotel, and I just kept out of his way. My friend got it in the neck.
I like that feeling of like accomplishing something, but if I had the choice, I would rather not work and just have a really nice life. Yeah, I think sometimes you feel a bit like you're a slave to someone else, really.
But if you work every day and you're doing something you don't enjoy, then life must be so miserable, you know. And if you're doing something you don't enjoy, I don't know why you don't just give it up and do something you do enjoy, because, you know, you may as well enjoy life because you don't live for very long. So you may as well enjoy what you're doing when you are working. And I really enjoy what I do. And if I ever did something that I didn't enjoy, then I'd give it up immediately and do something that I really did enjoy because I like to enjoy life, you know.
I'm looking for a job of a sort of clerical nature, administrative perhaps, preferably to do with customer relations.
When I retire from racing, I don't even like to think about it. I feel that each day I can run, touch wood with injury-free conditions, then I'll run till I drop. Tactics are very important in a race.
I'm terrified of retirement. Terrified. I really like my work, and I don't want to retire now.
You can't be morbid, else you wouldn't be able to do the work. You've got to have a laugh, and a joke, you have a joke, you know. It's just you or them, isn't it? It is animal instinct there.
I think Feng Shui should be introduced to all office environments.
I'd like to have a go at trying to clean an elephant's tusks.
Can I just tell you something? That's not a human ear on the back of a mouse. That is one of the most grotesque misrepresentations that I know. It's a piece of cartilage shaped like a human ear, put into an epithelial covering. It's not a human ear.
What?
Digging dirt up and then putting it on the compass. That's our favourite thing in the garden.
I do everything in my power to avoid having to go out in the garden. It's just not my cup of tea at all. Boring, dirty, cold, wet, generally, out here. Do you want to say something, Mother? No, please don't. Just go back in your little... I do apologise.
I love gardening. You know, they say in the garden, it's the closest place to God, you know. And actually, I'm waiting for a nice warm day so I can go and pull a few things up. You know what I mean? So it's like God. Oh, hello.
I like gardening, but I'd like to do more. I'd like to have the time. I love to see things grow. I love to design things.
Well, a garden's a place for contemplation, isn't it? For reflection.
Gardening, eh?
Very apt.
Well, we don't really know much about gardening, do we?
We seem to get by.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gardening, you know, it's not an easy job.
when you're digging all day, the old back tends to suffer at the end of the day. You make it as easy as you can, really.
I would call this a labour-intensive garden. Yes, it is.
Me and Nigel we like being out in the open more than we do actually indoors. I believe that anyway.
Yeah.
And I think what Nigel likes about it is he's got that sort of saying like, no, do it this way, and I think he likes that. But I think we get on quite well together. Sometimes you have a moan at me and that about it, but I mean, two minds are better than one. That's what I always say.
Sure.
But we make sure that the job is done, and it's done to the best of our capabilities, and the job is cleared, and the job is actually spot on when we leave.
We have a yard that Des is very nicely decked out, haven't we, Bob?
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
I really like it. It's got loads of sun, got some ornamental grasses.
It's quite small, but it's nice.
No, it's not that small.
Smallish.
There aren't many ponds in the neighbourhood. And certainly in the height of summer, when it gets quite dry, sort of any body of water attracts frogs from miles around. Sort of a Lonely Heart pond for frogs, yes. Sort of singles bar sort of thing, yeah.
I get a bird's eye view of some of the most extraordinary gardens. Sometimes you can be up one tree which has 8 gardens underneath it, and all the neighbouring gardens are gnashing their teeth about this big tree, and the person who owns the tree has a very defensive attitude towards it.
It's got a little bit of decking and then a bit of grass and sort of
And a bit of
loads
slabs.
a bit of slabs.
It has, it's got
What do you
everything.
mean? I pay right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slabs.
And you can dig dirt, grass, sheds, bikes, flat stones.
What's your favourite plant?
I don't have any favourite plants. I like all the plants, except vegetables. I hate vegetables.
I don't like any plants except vegetables.
You only say that.
No, it's true. I know. I quite
like olive trees.
I can't see the point of flowers, really.
I like a good-looking garden which attracts all sorts of living things into it, to be a sort of magnet for life. I like contrasts of form and colour.
And cat papu and dog papu. And bird papu.
It's that organic gardening, that's coming a long way, isn't it?
Yeah.
All people are sort of... I noticed in our gardens that we visit that there's a lot of people with their own compost heaps, and that's putting their own sort of peelings and stuff like that.
Well, it's like that garden we done up in Portishead. That one at the bottom, she had all that black stuff, and we opened it up, it was jet
That's
black,
right,
remember?
Yeah.
And that was that when we done all the shrubs and that in her garden.
Yeah.
And that stuff was really good. And I mean that's good for the organic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it all helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're about number 1 on the hit list of slugs. Crawling and sliming across leaves and eating. Not very good. You follow him on, you just see these silvery trails.
I can eat almost anything.
Yeah, I think I'm the same too.
I won't refuse. And the only thing I don't eat is Turkish Delight.
I like Turkish Delight, see?
I can't stand it.
Yeah, I
and
like
lychees.
Turkish.
Lychees.
Yeah, what don't I like? No, I think I like most everything. Yeah, Brussels sprouts and that, I like them, but the missus don't like it.
No, not
Not
at all.
after.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Slugs, in my opinion, they're ugly looking things, but they're probably eating other creatures, aren't they? So they're probably doing your garden good to leave them.
I don't think they are actually doing your garden good.
Are they not?
They're eating... If they eat your leaves
I
and
know
things,
nothing about
they can wreck
gardening.
your plants.
Can
That's
they?
why they make slug pellets.
Oh well, yeah, you're
They
right.
don't make worm pellets.
Silly old me, I know.
I suppose the next one along is a caterpillar, which seems a shame when you think a caterpillar turns into such a beautiful thing. But a caterpillar can make such a mess of it, a lot of plants, with leaves munched away again.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a good crop of potatoes or a good crop of beans and peas. Whereas
flowers
aren't useful.
I mean, they are.
Well, they are.
They're useful in the sense that you
They're
can
pretty.
sit and enjoy it. It's an awful lot of effort, isn't it?
No, it's not.
I must admit to having a very great affection for the plant that we call by the unfortunate name of dog's tooth violet. Sorry for that delay.
There is a shrub that I do like actually, and that's the burning bush. You ever seen them?
The burning bush.
It's called a burning bush.
A burning bush.
A burning bush is called, and basically it goes green, and that, when it goes to die off, it goes completely brilliant red.
Oh, like flames, no?
Yeah, that's what they call it, a burning bush, because it actually goes from a nice dark green to a real burning red. And that's called the burning bush.
It turns to ash?
It just goes to like branches, thin little branches, and then it goes green again and goes all over it again. But the tree never goes away; it stays there all the time.
All right.
So it's a bush that's there, and well, I should say a shrub, as well as a bush, what is there all year round.
Just mucky, messy, boring rubbish.
It's got a shed,
Sounds
which I've really
gorgeous.
made up about, because I've always wanted a shed all my life, and now I've got one.
To read pornography in.
Not to read pornography, to have a radio and listen to the football results with a paraffin heater in fingerless gloves.
It's not chocolate. It's not grass. It's not anything. It's dirt. I'm telling stories.
British food, I think, is first class. It's somehow clean, satisfying.
English food is very bland, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not terribly spicy, I'm not either.
Oh, no,
or I like
I
the
am.
spices and the spices don't like me, you know what I mean?
No, I like spices, and I like all kinds. I mean, there's nothing around here anyway, is there?
The trouble with the foods we eat now, there's too much fat in them. And the worst thing that happens in this country, there's too many people eat chips.
Ooh, egg and chips, gammon, chip butties.
I mean, at lunchtime, instead of kiddies going down and buying a couple of apples or a couple of pears, what do? They go to the chip shops and buy chips. And when they get home at night, they have chips again.
You know, if I have too much chocolate, I get a bit fat, and I put on a lot of weight. I put on a lot of weight.
Yeah, she eats really well for a diet. I mean, I pile the weights on and she piles it off. So I think what she loses, I gain.
Try and eat healthily.
And she eats brown bread and all the rest of it. Apples and bananas, you name it, she eats it.
The main staple diet for runners is...
We had, in fact, we had wild strawberries, little wild strawberries. And of course, if it was acorn time, you could always eat an acorn. And even the thistle, you could always peel the top off of the thistle.
Are you talking about food? I go to a restaurant, I like everything.
Everything.
You know, not one particular, like a Mexican or a thing. That's no good for me.
There are one or two foreign foods that do have rice pudding, proper pizzas. Like some of the deep pan pizzas.
The crust on top, amazing, and then that gooey stuff inside. But that sort of poo is a lot healthier, horse poo and cow poo. Cow pats are fantastic to look at, though, with all those dung beetles crawling around inside them.
As long as it's
filling and barely edible, I'll pretty much eat it. I'm always too hungry to be picky.
I didn't like to eat anything really that was contaminated by any insect. Although we put up with it when you're hungry. I never ate it, that I know of. May have done, I don't know.
Horse poo is very good, you know, but human poo and dog poo, that's poisonous, I think.
Yeah, but if you eat a bit of dirt, it don't matter, does it?
No, they reckon you eat a pound of dirt anyway. In your lifetime, they reckon you eat a pound of dirt. God. Without even knowing.
I used to go around the back of shops, supermarkets, going down the back of the skips to get
No
the
problem.
chocolate out. Yeah, I've eaten food that's been a week old and whatever. Anything from frozen to tins. I used to find all sorts of food in the skips. I was like liberating it.
And then there's elephant poo, which is enormous. And lion's poo, now that must frighten anybody off.
I don't catch flies because they eat poo, and I don't like poo.
Like eating dirt, you got your trace elements in there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, and it builds up your resistance to infections
Exactly.
as well. So it ain't a bad thing, I don't think.
Dirt on food. Dirt on what? Dirt on food can kill you. You can put one mouthful of dirty food in your mouth and you can be a goner. Can you ask me that question?
I think I've ate more lead shot than I've certainly ate oysters. I think that's probably, I don't know, it's probably why my brain's a bit funny, or, yeah.
Dog and cat food.
It smells absolutely disgusting,
Well,
doesn't
it's
it?
very strong.
Horrible.
It's very strong.
Oh, I don't think I'd like to eat a sheep's eyeball or an intestine of a cow or something like that. But if you've got all these sort of intestines and all these sort of, not so appetising bits of animals, then they mix it all up in a mixer and then they call it
I don't want to sound like a cannibal, but there again, we all went out for a meal and the chicken was so horrible. I could vomit all night and never stop. That was really, really horrible.
Horrible. Yeah, bloody milk cartons. Goes everywhere, milk, anything. There's too many bags in the world.
God help the people with arthritis.
Yes,
they never open them.
they can't.
It's terrible.
Even to tea bags, even to get the stock.
The cellophane on it, you can't open it. The biscuits you can't open. All packages.
And a packet of ham, which I don't very well.
It's terrible. They're not. None of the
By
packages.
the time you open it, you don't want the ham.
No. Oh gosh, yes.
I hate seafood. I really, absolutely detest it. I did eat a fish once, about 2 years ago, and I think they're disgusting.
Now, I like prawns and all the shellfish. I mean, I know they're lovely, but I'm always afraid in case you get the one that will turn your stomach.
Whelks, mussels. That's like eating slugs.
Is it?
Oysters and stuff.
I've never tasted a slug.
Ugh, sliding down your gullet.
But you don't eat slugs,
Like
do you?
eating a slug.
Well, how do you know when you've never had one?
That's how I would imagine it to be.
I love salads. Same as I'd rather have a salad than a roast dinner.
We eat a lot of salad in the summer, don't we? More in the winter.
Salt, a bit of tomato. Can't beat a bit of salt.
Can't beat a bit of lettuce.
Well, I mean, I feel very healthy. The only thing that I have problems with is digestion, and I don't know what is wrong with my digestion. I mean, it's just like I just fart all the time,
I've got a windy stomach. So like a lot of things I would not eat if it would upset me. But other than that, no, I'm not a diet person.
Vegetarian is all right, but when they cut out everything, because some of them don't eat, well, they're vegans, is it? Vegans, I think that's hard.
I've been a vegetarian a long time, and when I'm angry, I sometimes lapse and just go and bite something. It's made out of meat, and then I feel guilty afterwards.
Vegetarians, I think they're sort of trying to be better than the rest of us. You know, it's been proved, as far as I know, that the best thing to eat is a bit of yourself.
Actually, beans gives me wind and lemonade makes me burp.
What are you looking at?
Thank you very much.
The best effective medicine is... I have no idea.
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me. I mean, I'm always going to the doctors, and you get there and you find out, there's queues to wait all the time, isn't there? Most of the time, and then, doctors a lot of the time waiting in queues, and, most of the time you spend most of your time in the doctors waiting, don't you?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm one of these that goes to the doctor when it's generally necessary. I mean, I am one of these goes for every pill, potion and tablet that there is. If I know what's the matter with me, I expect the doctor to do something about it. I won't be fobbed off by them.
Doctors have always scared me because when I was born I nearly died. I had 50% chance of living when I was born, and was in a little incubator and all my eyes were covered and I was yellow, which was awful.
I rarely go to the doctor. The last time I did go, he thought I'd died because I hadn't been for such a long time.
Doctors and I are great friends. I owe a lot to doctors. They've kept me alive. I've seen a lot of them. They've come, they've prodded me from top to bottom, in and out, every end, every part of my body. And they've cut me open, stitched me up, and done a pretty good job on me all over.
I'm the kind of person that's sort of a bit of a hypochondriac, and if I get a little sort of nagging pain or something, I automatically think it's something really serious. But then I never go to the doctor, really.
And you never shut up about it either.
I know, it's just kind of like typical bloke, I suppose, where...
It's not.
Should we rave about it now?
Well, it's these heart palpitations I get. You see, you never know when they're going to come, and they just... You got your heart jumping about all over the place.
Can't do with sputum, and I can't do very much with feet. I can't do anything with anybody's feet. I've all I'm doing anything with my own, and sputum really makes my stomach turn over. I don't mind vomit.
I developed a funny lockjaw. The dribble was coming out the side of my mouth. I couldn't speak, I couldn't chew. I just wanted to die. Took one look at me and said, "Oh, that's allergic reaction." He gave me my antidote and immediately my mouth just went, back to normal.
That's what I got now. I've got throat swelling now. I've got the tablets for that at the moment as well.
I've took a lot of tablets all my life, about 23,000, and I'm still alive. But at the end of the day, I think without them I'd have been dead.
I once had my head slammed in a door. That was good. I was saying goodbye to my friend and somebody slammed the door on my head, and it was my birthday, and I had to have 5 stitches in my head, so I've got them as well.
I could have had a DVT, couldn't I, laid in bed all that time, but as I said, they gave me an anticoagulant. Anyway, I'm here to tell the story, so there's people worse off than I am, and I can walk about all right.
I remember having a severe cold which didn't shift, and I shared a flat with a couple of vet students who dosed me with Famil syrup, the main active ingredient of which I believe is creosote. So I spent several days smelling like a fence post, but it did the job.
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me. There was big problems with my eyes at one stage. I went in about my eyes on a lot of times and had to go to see specialists. And you see that, but what they do is they clamp your head in a big clamp, and they want to bounce things on your eyeballs.
I had an eye operation quite a few years ago. I flew very quickly after I'd had the eye operation.
Well, you can't, I couldn't be doing with that, and so I'm pulling my head out of this clamp all the time.
And it was a real concern. I shouldn't have flown because it put too much pressure behind the eye.
That's another occasion when they told me I could just go on my own way. So I got thrown out of there as well.
I've fallen for a nurse, yeah. I fell for a nurse once. Little blonde, beautiful little blonde lady. It was quite nice, she was. Yes. I used to travel to Birmingham to see her on my old motorbike.
I had a blood test the other day, but I do not like needles. I don't like needles at all. I look away when I'm having an injection.
I'm fine with injections into any part of my body, but I won't have them in my mouth. And the reason is that I've
always been completely the opposite. I love injections in my mouth.
Really?
I really quite like them. In fact, the more sort of intrusive the dentistry, the better I like it, really.
Well, I'm not keen on dentists now. I was the last in Britain to be gassed.
They didn't use enough gas, did they?
No, I mean, I did come round. But that's when they first started phasing gas out, because they said gas is too dangerous.
The big black mask. Oh. You can see it coming towards your face, and the smell of the rubber, and having all my bottom teeth filled without anaesthetic. Dentists. Just brutal. Really brutal.
Dr. Bewers, he was very good, that boy. I mean, I think he was the first one that told me, some of the many things that was wrong with me. I had a problem with the inner ear and asthma, what I had for a long time.
I've got a small scar on my forehead where a child threw a brick at me. Well, it seemed like a brick at the time, but...
I've got
a scar here.
I have no scars whatsoever anywhere. Have I? In fact, you count that as a scar. It's only a little...
Well, it is a scar, yeah.
Well, I don't count it as a scar, so...
Do you not?
No.
I've got a scar on my elbow, and a scar on my other elbow, and a scar on my knee.
On my face, my legs, my stomach.
And a scar on my other knee, my tongue, my head.
My arms, wrists, hands, everywhere. There is no one part on my body that does not have a scar.
I don't think I've got any other scars. Not physical ones, mental ones, obviously. I've got a lot of them, but you can't see them because they're inside my brain.
I was injured badly once. Somebody kicked me in the forehead. Being very young, I got up and carried on and didn't think, it had done me much damage. For all I know, some of that damage may still be there. May still affect some of the things I do, some of the things I say.
I've broken all my toes, I've got a dodgy knee, I've busted both my ankles and bent my feet back round so they're next to my shins, broken my hand and my wrist, my collarbones 3 times, bashed my head, knackered my back. But it's all been worth it.
It's great. I love smiling, I love being happy and jovial, telling jokes, being the butt end of jokes, but hey, now I can do it with a mouthful of teeth, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I've had crabs, they were good.
They got out of hand, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Ooh, hang on. Won't let anyone stick a thermometer. Ow!
Now it's a lot of talk, is what I find. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh, I love Blackpool. Little stick of Blackpool rock. Get that on George Formby, don't you? My little stick of Blackpool rock.
family's been out here running a donkey ride since 1886. We've been here, so we're a long-established family, and we've seen a lot of changes over the years.
We're great beach people, but not sunburning, but not sunbathing. The bottom line is we never sunbathe.
The wind, if it's too strong, it's not so comfortable. You know, a bit cool. But today I found quite pleasant, to be quite honest. Yes, rather warmer than yesterday, I thought.
I think you just take potluck, don't you?
A little bit of a joke, isn't it?
If it rains, then we've got wet weather gear, so it doesn't really stop us.
When it does rain, it clears the beach. As soon as you get some rain, there can be thousands of people along the beach. As soon as you get a drop of that rain, they're gone.
Donkey rides and dodging cars and candy floss, toffee apples, they're the things that you sort of associate with a British seaside resort, you know.
Yeah, indeed. My wife and I holiday annually in Cornwall or Devon. My wife actually must have sea and coast on her holiday agenda, so that over the many years, even though all our holidays have been in Britain, we've only once been to a non-coastal county, which is Shropshire. We had a fine holiday there, but the need to be near the sea nevertheless draws us back time and time again.
I think the favourite beach that I do is right up there where you can see the cliffs at Scarborough, where the donkey ride. It's on the south side, on the north side. I think that's the nicest part, and Bridlington Beach. But I think the Scarborough Beach is the nicest one that I've ever been to.
Yes, I think we've got a lovely beach. The only problem is obviously the sea doesn't come in very often. Usually it's only in twice a day, and it usually seems to be the wrong time of the day for holiday makers.
What I love is just splashing in the waves, and it's really cold, and you just jump in the sea, swim around in there, and it's just really nice.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. No, too many germs in the sea, too many things that can make you ill and bad. Oh no, if you want to stay healthy, stay out of the sea. That's what I say.
Not very good at swimming. I just sink. Don't know why that is. I do though, it's true, because people say if you lie on your back you float. Well, you don't. Well, I don't, I just sink.
I do like swimming in the sea. I've always done it. We used to go to Cornwall, and it was nice, but it was always windy, always cold. Whereas I find with this area, we always feel, you know, much better. I wouldn't mind living down there, to be quite honest.
I had octopus once when I didn't know it was octopus, mind.
Very tough, isn't it?
Yes.
Very tough.
But I ate it. I'm saying now that I won't eat prawns and all these things, but I ate that.
Yeah.
But when I knew afterwards, like everybody else, I felt quite ill.
In our own part of the world, we're extremely attached to Whitby and visited in what's called our Whitby season, which is from October to March.
I've always felt uncomfortable with hot weather. I don't like hot weather. I don't like it. So, and you don't either.
No, I can't.
So we're agreed on that.
I love sunbathing because it's very warm and it's very relaxing, and it's almost like just being in bed, really, isn't it? Except it's like having a big electric blanket over you all the time, and you go brown, and that's always good.
I can't sunbathe for very long because I had a very hot summer. I got sunstroke, and I can't sit out in it too long. I can sit for so long, I sit for an hour, get some plenty of cream on, but after that I start feeling sickly and I've got to come in.
At the end of the day, what's it doing? It's cooking you, isn't it? The sun is actually cooking you.
Plus
That's
I get
why
heat
you go
rash.
brown.
If I'm in it for 10 minutes, I get a heat rash.
No, don't want to burn my skin, do I? Bad for you.
I love scrambling over rocks, being in the rock pools, and just looking for crabs and looking for mussels.
Oh, the best place for rock pooling is definitely Sidmouth. Really, really, really lovely rock pools everywhere. And I was rock pooling with all the little kids, and I was sort of digging around with, like, marvelling at nature. Oh, this disgusting thing, this turd fish, and it came really slovenly, and I pulled it up and I was trying to sort of marvel at it with the children, but it was so disgusting. I just ended up screaming and chucking it back.
I've really noticed pollution. I think they're a lot cleaner than they used to be, the beaches in this country. They're beginning to get their act together, I think, now. Well, they have to, don't they? There's the European regulations on beaches.
Well, the one what springs to my mind, it was a very, very big spillage.
Worst fear, I suppose, isn't it? If you dive in, you
Yeah.
don't want to go in the water and come up with, like, oil all over you.
Yeah.
It must put people off a holiday to see the state of it.
I think they get fined. I'm almost certain they do get fined, the ship owners.
Pollution is a problem everywhere, isn't it? I don't know. On the beach, what do you get? What pollution do you get on the beach? You get, well, too many people, probably, is the worst pollution, and their radios.
We wouldn't sit next to someone that had radios blaring out and were really being loud and everything. I think if they came and sat next to us, we'd move. If we were sitting on the beach, or if they had dogs or stuff like that, we wouldn't stay there.
The only reason I'm still doing this job is because of the children. If you see their faces as they get off a coach, remember, some have never seen a beach before, and it gives us great pleasure. The children are what make the job.
The old stuff, the donkeys and the carts and things like that, they're going to be around for a long time to come, yeah. The high-tech games, I think really they've had their day.
So coming back tomorrow, and hopefully swim again. All being well. I don't know what the forecast is for tomorrow, but if it's like this, we should be here. OK. Right. Nice to have spoken to you anyway.
As to the finest holiday that I've had, I would probably say, paradoxically, that it was in the Lake District during the foot and mouth epidemic.
My ideal British holiday, I'd probably like a weekend city break myself, living by the sea.
Don't mind if I hit this there.
I love this environment. I mean, it's great fun. The one thing that everybody has in common when they walk through that door is they love their animals.
Most pet shops are quite loud because they have birds in and they're always sort of singing, if you can call it singing. And there's lots of cages. And you sometimes, if you can put your finger through the bar and tickle what's ever inside like a rabbit.
At the end of the day, most of it's the U factor, the R factor, you know. That's, oh, look at that, you know. Cute little kitten.
It's awful to think that we're sitting there waiting for somebody to pluck us out of the air and take us home and keep us forever, you know. But at the same time, I'm never brave enough to go and make the first move and go up to somebody and say, right, you, how about taking me home and looking after me and loving me and cherishing me?
I think, yeah, go for things that are obvious. Dogs and cats and the like. I mean, there's all sorts of people. They have things in their bathrooms and all sorts, don't they? Alligators and that sort of thing. Wouldn't have it in my bathroom, I can say. Nope, wouldn't.
He's called Chester, and he is very long when he stretches himself out. if you annoy me, his eyes sort of widen a bit.
I don't think that I'm awful looking. I think I'm all right looking. People always say that I've got very open, honest eyes. So I think that I would be pretty nice to have around and have hanging about the place on the sofa.
I don't know. A lot of old nonsense, I think, really. So, I mean, you need to spend proper amounts of money on things, but you see some of these dogs that people have about. No, I don't think you need to spend a lot on them.
Dog toys, well, they love running and fetching things, so we've got balls on ropes, and lots of dogs, especially the smaller dog, like a Yorkshire Terrier, likes a squeaky toy. That's a high-pitched one, or just for a laugh, we've got ones that'll go.
We went to a friend's last weekend, and this poor little hamster's in this wheel thing for its exercise.
Well, it had a little car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle with a wheel in the middle, and it actually, by working the wheel, moved across the carpet.
Poor old hamsters running round on the wheel. Why do they do it? Because they're as daft as a 2-bob watch, I should think. Them poor bloody hamsters thinking, I could get out of here in about 2 minutes flat. And then they find out they ain't going nowhere. Just like the rest of us. We're all on the bloody wheel ourselves, aren't we?
Dogs are just stupid. People go on about how
stupid as stick insects. Stick insects are the most stupid creatures in the world. I mean, look at me pretending to be a log. Isn't that clever? Oh, I'm a little twig. Isn't that great? I mean, dogs are far better than that.
I think cats make good pets.
There's quite a lot of cats with bad breath, though. That's what I don't like about them.
Cats?
Yeah.
I like stick insects. I once got a train journey with me and 2 stick insects. It was brilliant.
I know, and I very much like a stick insect, but not as a intellectual conversationalist. I mean, hey, have you seen my log impression? Yes. You know, doesn't go much further than that, does it?
Stick insects don't have a developed vocal tract. That wouldn't happen. I think, though, dogs are stupid.
I don't really like snakes. Spiders I can live with, but I've never touched a snake. I almost did, but no, they're not our thing.
I feel isolated. I feel alone. I think I can hear something scraping on the outside, and I don't know what it is. I'd like there to be someone here with me.
Snakes can be dangerous to other pets. They can swallow things whole, and they do eat mice and small rodents whole without chewing.
Now, I like the furries and the tortoises, because I've got tortoises. I love tortoises, but they're still asleep at the moment.
Oh, sleep's really important to me. Yeah, I mean, I go through passages when I need to have a lot of it, and it's just good. I mean, man, come on. It must be, you know, in the top 3 of everybody's list. Your bed, you know, I mean, top 3, top 2, top 1, maybe the top. My bed, wow.
Sometimes the pet, when people are looking, will actually do something to say, I'm the one you want. Here I am. You want me? I'll have me.
It's like I've been sitting on a bench with all of my friends. It's like being at a dance, one by one, somebody's come up and taking them away. And then there's just me.
How much am I worth? I would find it very hard to put a value on that.
On a good day, I would say that I'd be worth a fair lump sum.
Do I say £1 million or do I say £10 million?
I don't think I'm that valuable. I think I'm worth about £142 probably.
At the end of the day, if you're the right person, you can buy me for 10p.
But the rest of the time, on days when maybe I'm feeling a bit grumpy and I'm sort of having an off day with people and I'm not in my normal friendly state of mind, I wouldn't pay a penny for me. I'd throw me back and choose another one.
I want a price ticket on myself.
No, not at all.
No.
I wouldn't even sell you.
I wouldn't sell you either.
Ah.
Ah.
I don't know if I worry about being left on the shelf, because at the end of the day, I've come through sort of many years of being on my own and having a really great time. And I think, well, if I was on my own, I'd just continue to live life. And if it was at this standard, I wouldn't have a lot to complain about.
I've sort of been on and off the shelf, as they say, really. There's been a time when I thought I was on the shelf, and then I got took off again.
Everyone gets rejection in life. When you're younger, you're more able to actually cope with that, I think, and bounce back. And you're not on the shelf for long.
I know that it will be okay in the end, but I am very pessimistic. I think it's going to take a long time before I get out of here.
The icing on the cake would be the partner or the companion who would be there with me for the next number of years.
And so I'm nicely happy now in my life, having been took off the shelf. And that's like a nice family that I'm in now. And that's a very comfortable sort of feeling.
Jill has a tendency, most mornings actually, to claim that at some point during the previous night, I farted very loudly.
I think snakes and spiders are more scared of you than you are of them.
I have a phobia of being shut in an incredibly small space with no light. My ultimate, being the idea of being buried alive with no space in a box. Oh man.